Alright, so here's Hound in his alt mode, which is that of a Jeep Wrangler Sport, or just a regular old Jeep Wrangler. It does say Sport right here, so I'm assuming it's a Jeep Wrangler Sport or something like that, or Sport Edition. But anyways, yeah, it's very nice alt mode. It is an alternator, so it's, going to be modeled after a real life vehicle. That was what the whole gimmick or trait of the alt mode, or not alt modes, but the alternators line was, is, taking the original G1 characters, and rather than having them turn into some kind of weird off-brand vehicle, they would actually turn into the real life version or modern day version of their alt mode. So in the case of Hound here, he's turning into an actual Jeep, or in this case a Jeep Wrangler specifically. One thing I do like about this guy is it's got some suspension here. It's kind of spring loaded here in the wheels. They kind of bounce around, or you can bend them around like that. So it's kind of got kind of mimicking that like off-road action with the suspension there. But it is pretty well detailed. The doors both open up here like so. And if you kind of look inside there, you can see the detail that they did with the little console and the steering wheel, little stick shift there. And the steering wheel here is kind of like a soft, like pliable rubber. Same with the little stick shift in here. It's kind of like rubber. And the mirrors here are kind of like shiny, reflective kind of chrome. They're just kind of like on rubber too. So they kind of flex a little bit. You don't have to worry about them snapping off. And if you pop up the hood here, you'll reveal his little engine there, which is actually going to be his arms once we look at the transformation here. But one quick thing you can do here, this kind of gets into his transformation, is you can kind of flip this little panel here forward and reveal the Autobot symbol if you want to. So you can kind of do that either way if you want in his alt mode here. There's the front end of the car. It's got the classic sort of Jeep looking grille and headlights. And here's the rear. It's got the little spare with the Jeep logo on it. As far as accessories go, the only real accessory he has is here in his spare. He has like the little blaster cannon. You just kind of rotate this part here, and that's going to reveal his little gun. And this is a little bit different compared to some of the alternators in that he actually has an actual gun that stores away, whereas most of them usually would have the engine block or the engine head kind of pop off and fold up and turn into their little gun or blaster. But his just kind of unfolds like that, and there's his little hand cannon or blaster there. So let's just set that to the side. So yeah, that's the only other real accessory that this guy came with. So yeah, it's pretty nice alt mode. And with that, that's going to do it for looking at the alt mode. And let's start looking here at the transformation and robot mode. Okay, here we go with the transformation of Hound. To get started, what you're going to want to do first is do his legs, which are back here in the rear. And to do those, you want to pop these little flaps here down, or the little step guard there. So just kind of pop them down like so, and that's going to kind of loosen up his leg joints, or allow you to loosen up his leg joints. And if we kind of open up the doors here, you can see this little arm here, and it kind of pegs in there. Just kind of pull that out like so. Let's see if I can get that out of there. No, it's not going to let me do it. There we go. There. Just kind of do it like that. You can see that there. So just kind of get in there and kind of pop that out. It should peg in there a little bit more than it did, but I don't think I had it in all the way. And then what you want to do is kind of unloosen this little roll bar here at the top, like so. And that's going to basically loosen up his legs there from the upper part of the car. And then you can just separate these. And you fold these roll bars in, like so. Now the legs get a little complicated here, but not that complicated. And what you want to do is, I believe, bend these seats back like this for the time being. And what you want to do then is let's turn them around here. These are actually his feet, so you can kind of just rotate these like that. Okay, and then right here is his foot, so you kind of want to just pull this out and then kind of twist it around so it stands it up on its end. And then just take this part here and kind of rotate it like, oops, like so. This part here, just twist it around. And these are actually going to be his feet. And then you want to finish rotating this on through like that. And then these seats here, you can kind of leave it like that or fold it down if you want. But I think if you leave them like that, it kind of fills out. This is going to be the back side of his leg here, like that. And so quickly, let's just do that again here. So go like that, and you just want to kind of, see if I can get that there on the camera. You just kind of want to rotate this around like so. Actually, you want to rotate this first. So just kind of do that, and then rotate that, bend this down, pop that down, just kind of line everything up. And then his knees here are kind of like bent back, so you kind of want to just straighten those out, bend it back, and then just rotate both of those points forward. So that's kind of going to kind of elongate his legs a little bit, like that. And then this little panel here just kind of folds up to the side. That's pretty much his legs there. So you can kind of see there's his legs. And then these panels here, you could just kind of fold those forward like that. Okay. And in the next part here, to do his chest and arms. So you want to kind of take the hood here, raise it up like so. And then his arms here, you just kind of push them on out like that. And on these little like arms or posts here, these little skinny ones, just kind of rotate those around. Rotate them around. The transformation on this guy for an alternator is pretty simple, really. It's kind of medium. It's not real complicated, and it's not real simple. So just kind of fold out his arms, get those straightened out. And then what you can do is his head here, just grab his head right in here, just kind of swing it forward, and then just pull the hood down. There's this little flap here that opens up that allows his head to pass through. So just kind of push his head up on through there, and just kind of pull it up so it lines up flush with the hood, like so. And then just kind of close the hood back down, and that's just going to kind of sit there like that. So there's Hound with his head sticking up. And we're almost mostly done with this guy. The next part here would be to, I believe you can rotate these wheels down like so. And then I think this whole part here rotates around his chest. So just rotate that around so now his front of his torso is facing with the front of his legs like that. And then you're going to want to fold up his waist area here. You can see it there. It's going to fold up and snap onto those little posts. So just kind of bend his legs down like so, and just go ahead and do that. And kind of these tires do get a little bit in the way. Just kind of fold it up there till it snaps into place. Okay. Now the rest of the transformation just basically involves like, moving these down and rotating them down. So you just want to pull this top of the roll bar here, disconnect it from this front part like so, and this whole like assembly is going to tilt back. And what you want to do is rotate in the steering wheel like so, and fold the seats up, just kind of flushing everything up like that. And then that window will also kind of bend down like that, so you're kind of giving them like a little backpack almost. And then the doors you can just kind of leave out like the little panels or wings, and this just kind of sits here. You can kind of fold it up if you want like that, or just leave it kind of hanging down. I kind of just leave it like that. And then these tires here, you can kind of rotate those down so they cover up his thighs like that, or just kind of leave them kind of hanging back. I kind of leave them like that so it's a little out of the way. But with that, you pretty much have them there in his, or have him here in his little alt mode or robot mode. Excuse me, not alt mode, but robot mode. And just kind of line up his legs here. His legs are a little wonky because of the way his feet sit in there. You can kind of just rotate them a bit. Mine's a little loose here at the hip joints, so I'm just going to kind of try and get him to stand here. But yeah, let's see. He's not standing the greatest here. I do wish they would have improved the feet just a little bit. Let's see, I got him leaning back. There we go. That's better. See these feet here, you kind of see on mine, they want to kind of suck in like that. So it's kind of annoying in that you can't really, it's kind of a little like pigeon-toed almost. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll just kind of leave him there. Just as long as he stands up straight, that's all I really care about. But there he is there. And like I said, he does have his little blaster, which would store down here in this little spare tire compartment there. But that's Hound there in his robot mode. So let's kind of zoom up in here and just take a look at him. I do like his head there. It's very G1 style. I think they captured him pretty well. He doesn't have the little shoulder cannon like he did, or shoulder missile or whatever it was, like he did on the original show. But it's pretty well done. There's kind of a bit of a gap there. You can see a lot of opening there. So they could have maybe put a panel or something here that kind of would fill that out. But not too bad for an Alternators, and not too bad for a you know, realistic sort of version of Hound, as it were. Let's just kind of pan on down here. He's got an Autobot symbol there. His legs and waist. Go out just a bit. There's his legs, and there's his feet there. Again, they could have probably improved those feet a little bit. Mine might just be a little stiff too, so it's giving me a little bit of some problems here. Let's kind of turn him around here at the back side and look at him. Let's work our way back up. There's the back of his legs. He's got a little bit of kibble hanging off of him there. Not the worst amount though of it. But pretty cool figure. I like this version of him. I think the alt mode's very well done. Robot mode's probably not quite as good as the alt mode, but I think they did a pretty good job overall with him. You know, relative to some of the other alternators that are out there. This one transforms fairly quickly. It's not too complicated. I think the only drawback is just it doesn't stand quite so well, but you can get him in some pretty decent poses. Articulation on him is pretty good. So speaking of articulation, the articulation. His head here is on like a little ball joint, so it can pretty much pivot around and look up and down however you want. The arms are ball jointed here at the shoulders, so those can rotate around. You can bend at the elbows, bend at the wrists. This is mostly just transformation. You can rotate them at the waist here a bit, depending on how you position these little tires here. So yeah, you can do like that. I'll just kind of move those back up, out of the way. The legs here, mine are a little loose, like I said, here at the hips on the ball joints, but these are ball jointed. You can bend at the knees. The feet here are kind of funky. They're on these little like posts. They're kind of like ratcheted in here, so you can kind of bend them like that and also pivot up and down. So yeah, that's pretty much the articulation for him. But I have seen some people online get him into some pretty cool looking poses and things, so he's probably one of the more posable alternators out there. And his blaster will fit here in his hand. You can open up his little fists and just kind of stick that in there like that and close it back up. And he does hold it fairly well. So there's his little blaster. He's kind of got like a little trigger finger there too. So that's Hound there, Alternators Hound. My thoughts on this guy, I think it's a pretty good figure. If you're into alternators at all, I'd say this is definitely one to pick up. Like I said, the transformation is fairly simple. It's not too convoluted like some of the other alternators, so you can kind of play with them a bit. And he's a good display piece too. So that's my take on Alternators Hound.